Hello everybody, my name is Adam Noble from Unhinged LLC, developer of Lost Legend. Today I'm bringing you another RPG Maker MV and MZ tutorial, but really this affects all RPG Maker versions, at least within the past couple of years, and that is map limitations. So back in the day, if you look at games like To the Moon and that whole series, and a lot of games made within the last 10 years, and you look at the recommended PC specs, it's all something like Windows XP with a Pentium 3 at 2 megahertz processor, or some crap like that. And basically, you know, people end up making their maps with a limited number of events and really working on minimizing the number of switches and events and parallel events and auto runs that are happening at the same time. If you haven't noticed, this actual tutorial today is less of something showing you what you can do or how to do something, and more of something that you can do and could be doing. So this is a bit of an opinionated video, but I am under the opinion that you no longer really have to worry about hardware limitations. So right now I'm recording this in May 2022, and I'm here to tell you that you're fine. Make your project however you want to make your project. This you're looking at right here is the first ever map I ever created in RPG Maker MV. It has been ported to MZ, but this is it. This is the first map. And then I went and created the little bitty pieces of the map once I realized that that was basically nothing. So I created like this little spot, and then I created this little spot, and then I created like this little spot, and then they would all move from room to room. And then I realized this is well, at the time it was like 2020 or 2019. Then I realized this is the future, old man. Make it all one map. So we did. And honestly, there's no reason to not make it one map. When viewing this map, there is no loading screen, there is no delay, there's no lag, and now there's not a ton of events. And if you have a crap ton of events, then you might need to size your maps accordingly. But we have, on this particular map, 133 events of various types. Some of them are, some of them are more active than others. Not a lot of parallels or anything like that. But, it runs just fine. And, if your map does have 1 second of loading time, to have something a little bit bigger than this, then who cares? It's 1 second. Why go between maps and have the screen flash and all that when you could just have one giant map? It makes the immersion a little bit better. You can do more with it. And with today's vastly improved hardware over the past, I think it's way more possible than it's ever been. Especially since you can get a cheap laptop for under $500 with a nice processor, even sometimes with a GPU. So the type of things you could be doing are, massive maps. This is our overworld. We drew it just to get a literal map on the screen. We don't use this map for anything at all. But you can be doing stuff like this. Just for perspective, your character is as big as a little white square on the screen where my pointer's at. This is a massive map, and most people will tell you that if you try to do a map like this in RPG Maker, you're an idiot, and that it's not possible, and then you're gonna lag and all that. Well, I actually did a test. I went to Dawnfall, which is another massive map, actually technically larger than that one, even though half of this one is just water. And it already has over 100 events already, but I added more. Now, they were all the same event, but there were a whole bunch of NPCs running around with random movement routes, and I added about 200 NPCs just walking around. They all had text, you could talk to them all. And do you know how much extra loading time I had? How much frame drops I had? None. It was none. None more than so much little that it was negligible. I couldn't tell a difference. So that's how much of a difference it made. So basically, yes, you can technically run into limitations with your map size, but I'm here to tell you that it's not nearly as much of a problem as it was 10 years ago. So make the maps that your heart wants to make. Don't limit yourself by trying to get your game to run on Windows XP. Just for some information here, this is the Steam hardware survey for April 2022. And this is showing that basically 74% of people as of April 2022 are running Windows 10 64-bit. And 50% of people have at least 16 gigs of RAM. Okay, so that's huge. And 7% of people are running a GTX 1060. So if we look at all these people who are running basically modern graphics cards. There's not a single graphics card in here that would have any trouble running any kind of RPG Maker game. And look at the massive percentages that we're getting of millions and millions of users. So, and look at all the people that are running 6-core CPUs, 4-core CPUs. I mean, there's, again, no reason to be making making a tiny little game that has to run on Windows XP, or could run on Windows XP, because there's just no reason to. Just develop a game for the hardware that's available to your users now, not the hardware available to your users 20 years ago. So that's all I have to say about that. It's a little bit opinionated, but it's still important to say. Make the maps that your heart wants to make, and don't limit yourself by the technology that's available or isn't available or was available. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to fix this house. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.